Hello everyone. Due to this coronavirus shutdown in India, we could not come together and worship, but I believe that this short message will reach out to you in this time of history. This morning I want to share a short message from the book of John chapter 12 verses 12 through 19. Basing on this, Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem to present himself as a Passover lamb. His purpose was to fulfill the Old Testament prophecy found in the book of Zechariah chapter 9 verse 9. It reads, "Rejoice greatly, see your king comes to you, rejoice and having salvation, gentle and riding on a donkey." Here, donkey is a symbol of weakness and lowliness, not a symbol of power, authority, or honor. Our King came in weakness and vulnerability. Our text this morning from John chapter 12, let me read from 13 through 15. The next day a great multitude that had come to the feast, when they had heard that Jesus had come into Jerusalem, took branches of palm trees and went out to meet him and cried out, "Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, the King of Israel." Then Jesus, when he had found a young donkey, sat on it, as it is written, "Fear not, daughter of Zion, behold your king is coming, sitting on a donkey's cloth." So to fulfill the prophecy of Zechariah, Jesus came to Jerusalem, knowing what lies ahead of him. He is in his lowliness before the crowd, because there were three different groups of people in the crowd that day. First, the Passover visitor from outside Judea. Second, the local people who had witnessed the raising of Lazarus from the dead. And third, the religious leader who were greatly concerned about what Jesus might do at a feast. At each of the different feasts, the people were in keen expectations, wondering if Jesus would be there and what he would do. It looked as though Jesus was actually seeking to incite a revolution and establish himself as a king, but that was not what he had in mind. What did this event mean to Jesus? For one thing, it was a part of his obedience to the Father's will. He is moving things toward his ultimate rejection by the religious leader, putting the wheels in motion for his ultimate sacrifice. This is how the king presents himself before the crowd. Jesus, the so-called king, is on a donkey and not on a chariot. The Jewish had kings before, but none of them had come on. The red carpet is replaced with branches from the trees and clothes from the people around. I could imagine myself, Zacchaeus, being in the parade that day saying, "I used to be materialistic and dishonest in my work as tax collector, but now no more, because he forgave me and I'm a changed person." Blind Bartimaeus could say, "I was once blind, but now I see." Lazarus could say, "I was dead, and that man called Jesus was my resurrection." The beggar, harlot, and outcast could be in the parade, but must be think that this man is different. I was not expected that he will accept me, but he took me as one of his own. Yet some people must be thinking that the crowd must be crazy to follow this man who called himself the Messiah. If you are in the crowd today, will you say Hosanna, or will you be like the religious leader who are against the crowd? Will you follow the crowd and cheer, or will you stay away from the crowd and try to find the fault of the king? I believe as Christian, we are aware that Jesus entered into Jerusalem to fulfill God's desire for mankind. The whole city threw a parade for Jesus. What a beautiful scene it must be. As Jesus rode into the city, people threw palm branches in anticipation of his coming. So to this day, Palm Sunday is marked as a time of celebrations of worship and praise. However, this day is also bittersweet for us because even as we heard of celebration, we know that Friday is coming. The cross is coming. The cross is never of fun, but of pain and suffering. We know that many in the same crowd will, within a few short days, exchange word of praises to the word of death, shouting Hosanna and then later shouting, crucify him. Many of us who gathered to throw our coats and palm branches onto the street and shouted praises be to God, but when things doesn't happen as we think, begin to question, why me, Lord? When the impositions of do's and don'ts come upon us, we wonder whether to worship him or shouted crucified him. What is your commitment today for Christ on this Palm Sunday? Are you going to shout Hosanna for the rest of your life or not sure of your slogan until now? In order to have a committed faith, we must develop and maintain a personal relationship with Jesus. Remember, committed faith is not swayed or blocked by our personal trials and crises. So whether Jesus put on trial before Pilate or seated at the right hand of his Father, are we ready to say Hosanna in the highest? If our faith is based on our situation or circumstances, we are just one among the crowd in Jerusalem. Therefore, let us have faith in him in good or in bad time, for he promised he will never leave us nor forsake us. May God bless us all.